Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about the AMC Masterclass, $100 million, the AMC MOASS, and many more in this video. First, we're taking a look at this. AMC just pulled off a legal masterclass. Court ruled that stock is a valid form of payment for settlement. That means insurance companies can't dodge payouts just because AMC use shares instead of cash. But here's the kicker. If stock is legally considered a currency, what happens to the synthetic shares, naked shorts, rehypothecation? The implications here are massive. So before we go further, obviously we're going off the back of yesterday's video where we talked about how AMC could be obviously getting a massive payout. And this is where we left off. And we talked about how this is obviously going to help AMC grow in the future because by, of course, having more cash, you could pay off debt, you could improve infrastructure. And so this obviously is the reasons for why AMC is what we call, in terms of doing very well. And so that's what we are looking at. But there are obviously some more things to this that I want to talk about in this video. Firstly, I want to cover in terms of the insurance payment. You can see this is the insurance payout case being discussed. AMC was denied a 99.3 million claim, which was now supported in one level of court and will be decided by a jury. Getting another 100 million to pay down debt sounds nice to me. Let's wait and see what happens. So obviously what we're waiting for is the approval and in terms of the judgment decided to how much money AMC will get, very likely to be around obviously $100 million. Now again, the number hasn't been decided, and so this is where we are looking at. But in terms of 100 million, that's obviously a very good amount, especially adding on to what AMC already has. It's going to give us, of course, a lot more options. And in terms of just talking about the future, in terms of talking about the overall, one of the biggest problems people have with AMC is, of course, their debt problems. And so this is obviously going to be a long way towards that. Another thing is about understanding that if we were to have $100 million, we could obviously cut down many operational costs. And so when we go into, and depending obviously when we get this money, when we use this money, going potentially into Q2, Q3, Q4, what we are going to be looking at is obviously the level of profits actually going up as we're able to cut down operational costs. And so, like I said, this is obviously very good for AMC on multiple levels, and is why we're going to be seeing potentially some more articles released about AMC. Something that I think is going to be released will like what they've been doing, mixing good and bad together. So it's going to be something probably along the lines, and again, this is what I'm guessing, it's going to be something along the lines of AMC got 100 million, that's good, but can it still operate? Can it still save itself? Probably something along those lines. And so if we were to see those articles, understand why they're doing so. We talked about the importance of AMC not going bankrupt, and having more money is obviously aiding towards that. And that's why shorts will be afraid. Now, going back to what we talked about in terms of, so you're telling me stock is now legally considered currency. Hedge fund just walked into a buzzsaw, because then what we're seeing with synthetic shares is that that's counterfeiting, naked shorting, straight up financial fraud, rehypothecation, a Ponzi scheme with extra steps. So if stock has to be treated like cash, then where's the float reserve for all these shares? Market makers are about to have a very bad time trying to explain why they're printing IOU stock and so this is what we have, something talked about in the past in terms of about how these synthetic shares they've created will obviously come back to bite them. Now, this is obviously going off of the back of what we talked about, of course, with the settlement. Like I said, there is still a lot more room here as of just saying that this is the final thing. And so this isn't to everything, something to be focusing on. But it is what we've talked about in the past, about how everything they've done, whilst they can obviously delay this whole process, whilst they think they can get away with it by hiding it away, by not letting it affect the current moment, it is going to have an effect in the past. All these synthetic shares that they've created, all of these naked shorting that they have done, we talked about how whilst right now it's affecting AMC in terms of the price declining, and it doesn't seem, at least in terms of on the surface, to have any harm and damage done to the shorts themselves. What I do believe is that in the future, it will actually have a massive effect. So yes, they can take AMC down to where the price is right now. But in the future, when they don't have the liquidity, when they don't have the money, when they don't have the capital, and the price shoots up, then the AMC will go way above, you know, when we saw it pass before obviously the reverse split at 82, we're gonna 72, and we're gonna obviously see it go up even higher into the thousands, tens of thousands. And that's everything that they're doing now, is really all just piling it up and really, you know, just highlighting what's going to happen in the future. Now, let's take a look at this. And of course, we're going to obviously go more in depth, but you can see here, to start off, GME is in a better position financially than AMC to squeeze the shit out of short sellers and MOASS all stocks. On the flip side, AMC, the most naked short stock on this planet, most could afford it, market makers had to naked short more as a result. This is why the media pays so much attention to AMC, because they are afraid and need AMC to die, but it's not. And so before, you know, again, this is an argument, and just like obviously Travis highlighted to him, what he says is, I just personally believe AMC will hurt and bankrupt over-the-counter market makers and other institutions financially and do a lot more damage than GME. Now, before we go further into this, like I said, I always want to clarify, there is not a competition between AMC and GME. We've always said that the short sellers are, of course, mutual in both these stocks. And so when AMC squeeze, GME will squeeze. When GME squeeze, AMC will squeeze. So it's never a competition. But it's about understanding where we are at. Now, when you take a look at the fundamentals, when you take a look at the financials, GME are in a better position financially because they have billions of cash. They're able to collect, you know, tens of millions, hundreds of millions in interest payments. And so that's where they are at. And so whilst AMC hasn't reached that level where they're able to get that amount of money, what they do have is obviously better infrastructure. And so this is obviously the clear difference that you have to make. GME has billions of dollars, but AMC has a working infrastructure that's improving. And so that's where we are at. But it's also to be understood that because AMC's price is cheaper than GME's price, and obviously anyone can see that, AMC at 3, GME at 20, we've said this in the past as well, it's obviously cheaper to be making synthetic shorts of AMC than it is for GME. Again, take the price right now, for example, AMC at $3, GME at $20. You know, you can short AMC 3 times for the same price of one GME share. So you can understand why there are, of course, more naked short shares for AMC to obviously be existing out there. Now, that's obviously then a bigger problem because GME is in a position where they don't see any chance of bankruptcy. They're in a chance where they could easily attract investors if they were to use the money well, and therefore pushing the price up and therefore squeezing. But AMC is in a position where shorts constantly need to suppress AMC because they've created 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times more AMC shorts than GME shorts. And at any point, are they to let AMC go up and, you know, explode, then they will have to pay, you know, the thousands of dollars for one share per share of AMC shares for tens of hundreds of billions of shares that they've obviously created. And so that's what we have to understand. It's never a competition between the two. It's about understanding where we are at. And like we said, when one squeezes, the other will follow. And so either way, it doesn't matter who squeezes. We obviously just want to see one squeeze and the other one will follow. And it's just about how much money these shorts will have to pay. And so that's what we have to know. Like I said, AMC and GME, there is no point arguing with each other. The enemy has always been the short sellers and not one another. And that's what my main focus is. Now, you can also see here, then why are you buying? And this is going off of what we just talked about here. You can even see here with the amount. So these are tokenized tokens of AMC that we've talked about in the past. What you're seeing is in the trillions, in the quadrillions of tokens. And obviously this is a ridiculous amount, and this is something that we've obviously covered in the past. But it's also to go back in terms of understanding, are there that many amount of naked shorts of AMC? Like when you ask, you know, when you say there are 10 times more AMC naked shorts than GME, is that true? Well, when you understand how many tokens are there, you already understand the scale of things. And so this is, of course, what we have to know. And we know that tokens are obviously used as a way of locating AMC shares. Now, the whole situation of FTX, where they said that they are obviously doing 1-to-1, so they had over 400 million shares of AMC. We don't know if these amount of tokens are obviously backed 1-to-1, if they're backed 100-to-1, 1,000-to-1, but regardless of that, it's about understanding kind of the whole, this, how severe this whole situation is and where we're looking at. And so to really understand, is AMC going to have a massive MOASS when it squeezes? Yes, because of all the data that we have. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.